we're doing another arcade game because, frankly, I feel a little bit like having some mindless fun. And showing through the little mini cutscene, yeah, what the hell, why not? We're doing Alien vs. Predator. I like Alien. Fan of the first Predator movie. Watched the Alien vs. Predators movie. Not sure what to think about them. I like them because they're obviously aliens. But even I have to admit that they're just kinda... Not really kinda. They're definitely really bad, crappy movies. My publisher phone call, which was planned, did not happen. But I did get some information, which now that I think about it, I will be holding off until I find out more. Who do I want to play as? Warrior? Typical douchebag guy, the hunter, or the woman? Also, why is the douchebag guy more powerful than the predators? I'll play as the hunter. Now this is a blind playthrough. But I mean, it's an arcade game, so I don't mind playing it blind. Although I probably should have figured out at least what the buttons do. Because I was definitely pressing the wrong button thinking it was the attack button. I guess it was the special attack button or something. I don't know. I was failing. I have a tendency to do that. Just saying. You should all be used to it by now, okay? Especially if I'm playing a game blind like I am with essentially every arcade game I do. I might have a... Okay, I have the potential to work at Tim Hortons Stadium. It's the CFL / concert stadium in Hamilton. CFL being the Canadian version of the NFL. It's a 4 to 6 hour shift. Minimum of $100 per shift. But the thing is, it's full-on football. And I am definitely not a fan of any sport, especially football. I'd rather watch golf. At least with golf, there's a possibility I might see an alligator or something. But money's money. And it may also help me get over my sort of desire to never be around people, which I need to do. Like working concession at Tim Hortons Stadium. I'm gonna be working with the fucking public. And I do not like working I don't even like working with coworkers. I like to be on my own. The only thing worse than working with idiotic coworkers, and believe me, I've worked with a lot of idiotic coworkers, and every job I've had, management has been incompetent. What's the only thing worse than working with, well, one of the things worse than working with idiotic coworkers is working with the public. Because everybody's a potential asshole when you're working with the public. There isn't going to be a day gone by we're working with the public where I'm not going to have at least one asshole to deal with. And it's going to be Hamilton Stadium, Tim Hortons Field. So of course there's going to be drunks. Now, there probably shouldn't be drunk coming into the stadium, but I guarantee you, like, this is Hamilton. Hamilton's the kind of city where no matter how nice the place you are is, you go into a public bathroom, you're probably going to find a glass pipe and a needle. And the glass pipe, it ain't going to be for cannabis, let me tell you that. It's gonna be either for meth or crack. That's the kind of city Hamilton is. And I live in it! Though it does have some benefits. So long as you don't have to sort of deal with the, people, if you ever want to have fun in Hamilton, on a Friday or Saturday night, just go to Barton Street, and if you have a car, drive around. If you don't, walk around. You can take the bus too, because there's a lot of freaks that get on the bus, no matter what time of day or night it is on the number 2 Barton bus. Barton's kind of the young street of Hamilton. For those of you familiar with Toronto, sort of the, you go there to find whores and get drunk and partake in illegal substances sort of street. That's pretty much what the Barton Street is. Well, depending on the area, of course. What I like to do is go whore watching. Just find yourself a nice park near the Barton area. Not quite in the residential area, but where the residential area is nearby. Not residential area, sorry, industrial area. And just see all the people looking for whores and see all the whores looking for customers. It's quite entertaining, I guarantee. It's a blast. And here's the thing. I'm not the only person in Hamilton who does this, okay? Like, it's almost like a Hamilton pastime. They just sort of walk the certain areas in Hamilton and go whore watching. Like again, you can tell who's looking for whores or drugs or what have you. You can tell who's looking for the people who are looking for drugs or whores. I know other people who do this as well. But Hamilton's got some major problems if people are doing this as sort of a free pastime. If you feel like something a little bit more violent, it's always Hess Village. I usually avoid that area because it's a lot of bars and I hate dealing with drunks, but if you're looking for something more violent, you go down to Hess Village and see all the drunk people trying to beat the crap out of each other. Always a fight happening in Hess Village. It's just that sort of area. What else is there? The Downtown Public Library, Jackson Square. This is a library. Okay, libraries are supposed to have some sort of, I don't know, standard of, you're not supposed to see a lot of freaks, so you go to the Jackson Square Library, it's a lot of freaks. And once you know it's Jackson Square, which is kind of the main downtown. It's not quite a mall, but it's not. It's bigger than a mini mall. It's definitely not a plaza. It actually has the best movie theater in Hamilton, surprisingly. But it's a bit like, it's a mall, I guess, but it's kind of a weird mall. It feels too small, too compressed to be a mall. Right downtown Hamilton, where again, the, not the Barton's area, but it's the Barton bus drops off at it. All sorts of freaks in the library. Probably more freaks in the downtown Jackson Square Library than there is in the actual mall, which makes absolutely... Well, I guess if you account for the free internet, I guess it makes sense. And the fact that, I mean, libraries are not just books anymore, they do, they don't just do DVDs, they do video games as well, apparently. Why rent video games when you can just borrow them for free at the library now? That makes no sense. Like, when I remember borrowing my parents when I was very young. Borrowing a VHS from the library, and that was just bizarre to me. Just absolutely bizarre. Like, for me, a library is supposed to be about books, not like a source of more or less learning. You know, let's be honest, not everybody reads for learning. I read for entertainment. But I mean, movies, DVDs, I can't see them having Blu-rays. I cannot see any library having Blu-rays, but I mean they have Xbox 360, PS3, even current gen games. I don't know how they work. Okay, I guess that's how I discovered the small things. I was a little bit confused by that. Again, this is... because this is an arcade game that plays by the arcade rules, I am playing this blind. But oh well. As I said, it's an arcade game, so I'm going to, unless I really screw up with my inputs or something, I'm going to, at the very least, get to the end. Well, not to the very least, I am going to, obviously. Unless something royally screwed up happens. I guess I'll play as douchebag guy. Get to the end and just sort of beats the game. No matter how much I screw up, no matter how much I die. Really no such thing as a game over in an arcade game that has, well, in most arcade games that have arcade rules, I guess. I don't know, I don't really do the puzzle games. Maybe puzzle games like Bubble Bobble, or what I think it's Bubble Bobble I'd see playing in the arcades when I was a kid. I vaguely remember those. Yeah, I was about to say. It's not cool that I've been to the end of the game. I've been recording for under 20 minutes. Recording, not playing. Not even just recording. I have stuff to cut out during the beginning of the video. I mean, just sort of judging by my previous arcade runs of these kind of games, they usually take at least around an hour to complete. Like, under 20 minutes, that seems too short. Anyways. I have no idea what that was. And I honestly did not mean to skip over the text, I was just sort of not even pressing the normal button, I was pressing the directional button and skip through the text. Oh well, it's an arcade game. story doesn't exactly matter in most arcade games. They're just there for the, they're mostly for the excuse, you know? They're there for the excuse. I don't know why. That, what I'm presuming, is an automatic rifle. Looks more like a shotgun to me. I don't know if it's just simply because the barrel is that big or what. But that looks like this will be a shotgun. And while I do know there is there's at least one example of a full auto shotgun, I think there's only, and you gotta bear in mind, you're all probably thinking the shotgun I'm picking up because it's very popular in first-person shooter video games. But in actual reality, I think it barely got past the prototype stage, or I don't know, maybe it didn't even get past that stage. Maybe all note examples are just simply prototypes. Oh, it's designed to be sold for the and get adopted for the U.S. military. They saw it, said, cool idea, no practical value. And I think there's, I want to say there's only 3 that actually exist, but there might only be 1. Keeping in mind, I'm not exactly pulling numbers out of my ass, I'm guesstimating. Because I remember reading about it, I just don't remember what the total number was, but anyways. The video games make it appear a lot more popular than it actually is. Take, say, how can I explain? Not a tube-fed magazine. The magazine is cylindrical. It's a cylinder. Like, the biggest problem with the full auto shotgun is, unless it's belt-fed, you're gonna run out of ammunition very, very quickly. Like shotgun shells, especially if you're using it for military use, it's probably going to be at least 12 gauge. They're big. They take up a lot of space in the magazine. Like a semi-auto shotgun will make sense. Hell, some people use semi-auto shotguns for hunting. There are semi-auto shotguns used for police. Some of them have a kind of dual purpose. You can switch between semi-auto and pump if you desire for police use. But full auto? Too impractical. Okay, that was a funny glitch. Break the control box, okay. I'm not even gonna bother picking up the weapons, I'm just gonna... Mashy, mashy, smashy, smashy. And I failed, I don't care, it's only a bonus level. I mean, it's an arcade game too, it's probably only used to get extra lives, which I don't need, because I have unlimited coins. Unlimited digital coins. So I don't need the extra lives. Unless, of course, they're going for a high score. Now I'm one of these people, I've never bothered trying to go for a high score in any video game. That's one of the reasons why I'm not a big fan of most Atari games. Most people think I'm not a fan of Atari just simply because of its very, very crude. I mean, let's be honest, it is very, very crude in every free respect, but it's one of the first, you know? I mean, we're talking before the NES came out. So I'm not expecting much. Like, I don't even expect much from the NES. Or the Sega Masters. I don't even expect much from the TurboGrafx 16. I enjoy them. I think they're fun. I admit to knowing overall less about them than I should because I didn't grow up with them. I grew up with the Game Boy, which isn't even... I mean, the Game Boy is a handheld, so it's even a more archaic console than the NES. And I thoroughly enjoyed my Game Boy. But Atari... Like, I like my games to have some sort of beginning, middle, end. Especially if it's a card game. Like, I know there are a lot of games that I play where they don't necessarily have an end. Or at least they don't officially have an end, but unofficially they do. A lot of Western RPGs don't really have an official end, but officially they do. I mean, Western RPGs are definitely one of my top 3 genres. It might even be number 1. I sort of have to sit down and have a serious thought about this. But I don't know. Saying that, at least the plot has a beginning, middle, and end. I mean, even Game Boy, Nintendo 8-bit games. Like, they don't really have a plot, unless of course you read the instruction manual. Like, as far as the game goes, there's not really a story per se. Who do I want to play as? I'll play as Douchebag again. But like, so the game ends. You can sort of make up the story as you go along if you like I used to. You just, there's that motivation to keep on playing. Because you want to see how the game ends. And Atari, most Atari games aren't like that. Atari is pretty much a You play the game until you get a game over and hope you get the highest score. And those kind of games aren't very entertaining for me. One of the reasons why I like puzzle games is for that reason. It's essentially... a lot of puzzle games that I am familiar with is essentially, keep on playing until you crap out and hope you get a high score. That's not very motivative. That's not very motivational for me. I need there to be some sort of end game. And a lot of these Atari games don't have an end game. They just continue and hope you get a high score, and that's not very fun for me. It's honestly never been very fun for me. Also, obviously, I didn't grow up with Atari. Like, if I didn't grow up with Nintendo, I probably didn't grow up with Atari, just saying. I know there are, or at least I am aware of, I think, a few Atari games that have a beginning, middle, and end. Pitfall, I think, is one of them. I am aware of a few shmups. I do not know if the shmups have a beginning, middle, or end for all of them. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. I mean, like, I have Atari on here. Not the Jaguar, but I have a lot, the, how can I'm not gonna, I don't mean this to be insulting, but I have a lot of the, Crew Atari games on here. 26, 52, 78. I know I have access to those, plus I have the Atari Lynx, which is a handheld, I honestly do not remember growing up, which is bizarre. I guess after Nintendo, Atari consoles kinda hit the dust. In fact, I remember this is during the N64 era. And I did not have a PlayStation at this point because I remember I was at the shittiest school. I remember having, I think it was not Nintendo Power, but on an Electronic Gaming Monthly. Some sort of video game magazine. And there actually was a game that I do not remember actually being released for the N64. But I remember looking at this game thinking, you know what? This looks like it might be fun. But it was Atari. And I remember going to school with this magazine, and obviously I didn't mention the fact that I was interested in this game, but everybody else thought this game looked like crap. And won't you know it, when they found it was Atari, they said, yeah, this game is going to be crap. Which is a shame. Because this game really did look interesting to me. It was kind of a, I don't remember what the game is called again. I don't even think it was actually released. But I remember it's pretty much a, you're flying around in a spaceship kind of battling each other, shooting each other. Think Quake. But with spaceships and in a kind of, or at least from what I remember from the few screenshots, in a kind of city setting. And I mean, it looked like a fun game. But I mean, I guess just simply by the fact that it didn't even get released, it obviously wasn't that good a game. And I mean, it was an Atari game for the N64. And I remember everybody else in school going, no, it can't be a good game, it's Atari. And they're like, well, it looks fun to me. Bearing in mind, my taste in video games changed drastically from, since then. Like, this is before I even had a PlayStation, so I wasn't even, the only RPGs I was really into were the sort of PC-only Western RPGs. And also, as the N64 was my only console, so I was a bit desperate for good games because I just wasn't a big fan of the N64. I don't hate it. The N64 is not a bad console. Or at least more specifically, see, the N64 didn't have a bad library of games. It just had a library of games that didn't cater to me. The N64 was the 3D platformer console during that day. I don't know what the Saturn was. Again, I don't know. Nobody... I was unaware of anybody who owned a Saturn growing up. I was even unaware of anybody who rented a Saturn from Blockbuster growing up. And in that shit school that I hated even more than I hated any other school, everybody was N64 or nothing. Nobody had a PlayStation. You gotta bear in mind we were fresh off the Bit Wars, I call it. And during the late 80s, early 90s, bits were everything. So everybody in that school got the N64 because it had more bits. And while some might disagree, that was kind of the end of the Bit Wars and something a bit more different came along. It was more the, I don't know, memory wars, for lack of a better term. Like, pretty much, if it was a cart, it was inferior, and the N64 was cart, like, despite nobody owning a Saturn, and I mean, I am aware of the harsh criticism the Saturn had in regards to game development, the Saturn was CD-based. So on that alone, it may very well, at least should have been, superior to the N64. And I know people who owned a Saturn now. I didn't know anyone back then, but I know people who own a Saturn now who said it was one of the best consoles they've ever had. I just didn't grow up with these people. But like anyways, the N64 was this 3D platformer console. And I remember someone who rented a PlayStation from Blockbuster, and they said that Crash Bandicoot was an absolutely terrible game because I guess it was because of its linearity. Like he described the game as essentially just moving constantly down a hall. You don't explore like you do in Mario 64. Mario 64 is a superior game, all hail Nintendo. And I mean, I can see that. I can see why people would prefer Super Mario 64 over Crash Bandicoot. I didn't play Crash Bandicoot. I probably might enjoy it more than Super Mario 64 because it's got what I expect. I'm gonna play as a woman. What I expect from a platformer, kind of go from beginning to end in each level. But here's the thing, Crash, even despite that sort of linear go from point A to point B that I like in my platformers, it still has that collectathon factor to it. And that's my biggest gripe with most 3D platformers, that collectathon factor to it. Because I don't hate every 3D platformer. I was saying that the 3D platformers I do like pretty much follow the 2D platformer rules. And even then, the ones that I've, or at least the one I completed, Super Mario 3D Land, even that forces you to collect, just as it doesn't force you to collect. Or at least it has the illusion that it doesn't force you, that it's not a collectathon. It's that you don't think you have to collect anything until you get to that point where you need a certain number of star coins or what have you. And that did piss me off about the game. Even platformers like, I don't know, I think Arrows the Acrobat is one of them. Like 16-bit platformers, the sort of time when 2D platformers were king. Even the platformers back during the 8 and 16-bit era where you have to collect things to progress. I didn't even like those kind of games. I can appreciate them if they're a good game. It's just I can appreciate that they are that it's a high quality game. I'm just not going to enjoy it. Like, I can attempt to sort of keep my personal and professional opinions aside when I am playing something. And my dislike of most 3D platformers is a personal thing, it's not professional. No, they definitely did not age well, and I mean, even back when I was trying to have fun with Super Mario 64, just the whole pacing of it. The, kind of collect a star, get out of the level, go back into the level. Collect another star, get out of the level, go back into the level. That kind of pacing definitely did not help. But even despite that, I wouldn't have enjoyed the game anyways. I don't like having to... I like exploration as a reward, not as a punishment. And it's one of those things where if I can explore, I'm going to enjoy it. If I have to explore, it's gonna be hell. And having to explore in Super Mario 64 was hell for me. Which is bizarre because I'm kind of looking up games like, I haven't played any of the Metroid Prime games. I'm not sure if those are the kind of games that I enjoy because, again, it's not just that you have to explore, it's that you have to explore in a 3D environment. But I mean, despite the fact that I've never finished one, I do like Metroidvania games. With the exception of the original Metroid, but that's just more due to aging over time than it being a bad game when it was released. Saying that, I'm pretty sure I have access to Metroid Zero. Actually, I know I still have access to Metroid Zero Mission, and that's a game I would really like to complete. But I mean, Metroid 2 was one of my favorite Game Boy games growing up. Despite that, I've never bothered to complete it. I remember back then, and I remember even to this day, I get to a point where I don't know where the hell it is I'm supposed to go. And so what I do in those sort of situations, I call it wall hugging. I don't just do it for Metroidvania games, I do it for first-person shooters as well, where I just pretty much hug the wall looking for wherever the hell it is I am supposed to go. And in Metroid 2, and any other Metroid game or Metroidvania game I've played, I inevitably get to a point where I just simply do not know where it is going. It doesn't matter if the game has a map or not. It honestly doesn't matter if the game has a map or not. Super Metroid has a map, for fuck's sakes. And I played that game. a lot when I had access to it later on in life. To give you an idea on just how, I guess, naturally incompetent I am at Metroidvania games. You know that one kind of lava boss in Super Metroid where you shoot some missiles at it and kind of push it into the fire pit or lava pit at the end? I'm pretty sure I was at the point where that was where I was supposed to go. I don't know if it was the fact that I got distracted, or I gave up early, or something new and, or again, I guess that counts as being distracted, but something new and better came along. But I never did get to that boss. Just saying. Never did get to that boss. Which is bizarre, and I mean, I'd like to finish that game. I know Super Metroid's a fun game. I've seen multiple LPs of it. I've seen multiple streams of Twitch on it. These are fun games. I enjoy them. I've just been never. I don't know if it's a fact that I'm just a lack of motivation or what have you. But I've just never bothered beating them, completing them. Now, is this the end of the game? Because that was the Alien Queen. I've been recording for about long enough, or this might be the end game. And if it is the end game, I don't want to continue my discussion on Metroidvania games. It's the end of the game. And I did not mean to do that. Usually when I put in a high score, I put down, and there's only 3, I put down C-A-R, Craig, Albert, Reed. That's not my full name, that's my first 3 initials. But, alas, I mean, I don't even think this game, or at least I don't think the examples I have of playing these kind of arcade games even saves a high score. And also, I just don't bother getting, I don't care about the high score, I care about completing the game. That's it. This game is done. I will play through the credits just simply because, you know, these are the people who created the game, who made the game. I feel like at least giving them their potential credit where credit is due. I mean, let's be honest, very few people actually read the credits. Unless you're in the credits or you know someone who's in the credits, I really don't think people read the credits. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care and bye.